at the end. Graf won 17 of 23 points in the last 4 games of the set. She made only 2 unforced errors in those last 4 games. Now, the fiery one, Fred Stolle, has been teaching us a little bit about how to understand what they say down here in Australia, and more than that, what they mean. Let's go to Fred Stolle.
Another Aussie slang segment, this time on our ball kids. A lot of our future champions come through the ranks as ball kids, and they do a tremendous job here at the Ford Australian Open. And if this young lass, she plays tennis half as good as she runs, well, I'm going to get a name. But today, she's running late.
Where you been? I missed the tram. It was chock-a-block. Turn it up? No, fair dinkum.
Well, you can see she's joined her friends there, and they're taking the tennis balls out of the cans for the day's matches. And she said, well, I missed the tram because it was chock-a-block, meaning there was no room for her to get on the tram. Then a little friend says, hey, turn it up, meaning she doesn't believe that story. And the answer comes back, no, fair dinkum. That means that it is a true story.
Okay, that's one of the few true stories that you will hear, actually, if you listen to these 3 knuckleheads in the booth from Australia. Anyway, let's rejoin the match now. 1 game to love, Graf. In the second set, she won the first set. Had a very tough time winning it. This is the Flinders Park Stadium. Of course, the roof today is open. It's a beautiful day for tennis. This is Graf receiving the serve of Sanchez Vicario.
Love 15. First serve.
She got it on the line.
15 all.
It's 15 all.
Another fine rally here. 2-hander from Sanchez Vicario, finding its mark after a lengthy shoulder turn, and she flicks over the top of that ball at the very last moment. We've talked about the slice backhand and how it is very effective today against Sanchez, but if Steffi Graf is to win this match, I don't know whether that's going to do much harm to the power of Monica Seles in that department, unless she can follow it up by getting into the net and knocking off volleys. That's well played. As Mary mentioned, this young lady from Barcelona technically volleys well. She plays a lot of mixed doubles and ladies doubles, and that's why. Look at that racket head up, firm wrist, and now again watches the ball right onto the racket, knows she's made the winner.
30 all. This is the first Grand Slam tournament of the year. Of course, it kind of sits out there on its own when you consider that the French Championship finishes in June, Wimbledon starts in June, and in August the US Open starts. So they're kind of concertinaed in about a 3-month period there. This one, of course, is very separate from them all.
Game, Sanchez Vicario.
It is the only Grand Slam tournament. Sanchez Vicario wins the game and levels the second set at 1 apiece. played in the southern hemisphere, and that's a factor because, of course, it is summer down here at this time of the year.
It will be interesting if Steffi Graf does advance on to the final. She has won this thing 3 times. In fact, the 3 times she's been to the final, she's never lost. And her opponent, we already know Monica Seles is through. She, too, has never lost a final here.
She's never lost a first or a second or a third round.
She's never lost here.
No.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, this woman is one of only 3 women who have a winning head-to-head record against Seles.
Talking about the Ford Australian Open, though, there was a time when this was not a popular. It was the smaller of the Grand Slams. It was not very popular because, as far as the players were concerned, it was played over the holiday season, over Christmas, New Year's. Folks wanted to stay at home.
The players did, yeah.
Yep.
That's all changed.
That is that. Just to finish that, Steffi has a winning record over Monica Seles, 6-3. Chris Everett's got a 2-1 record. As you see, this is just over an hour, this match so far. Chris Evert has beaten her 2 of the 3 times that they've played. And Linda Ferrando at the U.S. Open a few years ago beat her in the first round. Their one and only meeting.
Game Graf.
Graf holds on, no breaks to serve, second set. Plenty of breaks in the first set, won eventually by Graf. It's 2-1 in the second. Tonight you can watch the first of 2 men's singles semi-final matches. It'll be between the world's #1, Jim Courier, trying to stay #1. He takes on Germany's Michael Stich. And then at 2 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Stefan Edberg of Sweden takes on the USA's Pete Sampras. Both matches will be terrific, I'm sure. Let's get back now to this women's singles semi-final match. Steffi Graf, #2 in the world, Sanchez, Vicario. It is Graf who leads 2-1 in the second set. She won the first. Not that hot a day today, but on the court itself, it is steaming. In fact, there's been a lot of talk about this court being tough on the players' bodies. It has been a terrific series of games here for Steffi Graf. She has made, listen to this, 1 unforced error in the last 6 games. She leads 1 set and 2-1.
Love 40.
She doesn't like the call, but it is nevertheless point to Graf. Another breakpoint opportunity for her. She's broken 3 of 4 chances. Sanchez 2 of 7 still.
I wonder just how many extra miles Steffi Graf covers in a tournament with moves like this, running around the backhand and opening up the court. A good shot there from Sanchez Vicario, but she does it just so often in rallies.
Out. 30-40.
Still break point for Graf.
The forehand before, 2 points ago, Steffi hit a hit a forehand that was too short, and Sanchez Vicario found the open court. She overplayed that one a little bit. But as you mentioned, Cliff, she's really cleaned her game up quite a bit in the last couple of games. It's a high-risk game. No two ways about it.
Which makes that stat even more amazing.
Exactly, and especially against such a speedy opponent as Sanchez Vicario. That's a very difficult thing to do against Arantxa's speed.
There's the break, first break of the second set, and it goes to Graf. She leads 3-1.
Here it is again. Look, she's still coming off of her serve, Sanchez Vicario. The forehand whistles by her. For her not to get a racket on the ball shows just how well struck this forehand really was.
Graf was broken 2 of the first 3 times she served. Since then, she's held 5 straight times.
Sanchez can feel this match slipping away somewhat, leading 5-3, and now down a break in the second at 3-1. Graf just coming on very, very confidently. Kind of agreed with what you said earlier, Fred, in that Sanchez Vicario is a lot like Michael Chang. I mean, everything you say about Chang in the men's game, you can say about Sanchez Vicario in the women's. Quick, good mind, very solid player. Doesn't make many unforced errors. Lacks a little power, though.
Yeah, just purebred retrievers, you know, first and foremost.
She's losing it a little bit. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, having said those good things about her, she looks a little down. Graf in control, ahead in the second set. She won the first. She is trailing in the second set 4-1.
15-love.
A couple of unforced errors back-to-back there from Graf. We have not seen too many of those, as you mentioned, Cliff, the last 5 or 6 games. This is vintage Graf, way inside the baseline as she hits that forehand very early, cross court. Now that's a shot where I feel she's been practicing the topspin backhand for the last month, and she says she's going to use it here. Watch this. Now this is one where she could play the topspin and she didn't. She elects to play the slice. She was too far back, and then Sanchez Vicario was able to create the angle, and Steffi Graf not even around the service line on that one. You can see she's mad with herself.
40-30.
I'm afraid that's the kind of thing where you approach, you know, and as you approach, you want to say, but you kind of committed to it. You want to say, excuse me, made a mistake, can we start this thing again? But you committed, and
exactly.
It was just too short. Game point.
So I think that's why Graf still likes grass more than any other surface, because at least on grass, you know, the ball gets down low.
Game, Sanchez Vicario.
She has won Wimbledon 4 times, Steffi Graf.
Graf leads 4-2.
Yeah, you can't argue too much about it, can you? She says, well, everybody's told me I should be coming over my backhand more often, and I do it in practice, but when I get in matches, I just feel as though I go back to basics. It's a very tough decision for her to make. You can't argue with the fact all the Grand Slam titles she's won over the last 5 or 6 years.
Well, I do think, though, that said, and I agree with all that, but, you know, when she gets challenged at the net, when she has opponents like Martina Navratilova, you know, but Sabatini, when she plays aggressively, that's when, you know,
she needs that top
that's when
spinner.
she needs it. Yeah, she's played a whole tournament here without having to come up with the goods like that against a serve and volley here. There's another double.
Graf has 10 forehand winners. She has not hit a backhand winner. Of course, she doesn't go for winners off the backhand side, as we've been talking about.
Early rounds of the championship, she did elect to come over the ball because she was not under pressure, as Mary said. That's one thing that Martina Navratilova was great at. In the early rounds, she used to be able to go through that whole repertoire of strokes. And she got a little tentative, though, semi-finals and finals, as far as her topspin backhand was concerned as well. Her best backhand was the slice approach.
15-30.
Yeah, she's won a couple of Wimbledons with that, Martina.
Exactly. Yep.
She's practicing this week in Chicago.
Graf has not faced break point this set on her serve. It's 15-30. Now 2 break points for Sanchez Vicario. Crucial stages of the match. Unbelievable serve. She's only 1 break up in the second set, remember. Saves 1.
Jeez, isn't that something? Sanchez Vicario would love a call. She thinks it wide.
Yeah, but the score has been called, and Jane Tabor in the chair is not going to change her mind now.
Tough when you get your first break point opportunities. They crank in 2 aces. Graf 2 aces in a row to get even.
Boy, Michael Stich did that against Guy Forget, another German player still in the draw. And he was coming up with second serve aces when he was down break points yesterday. Just remarkable serving from him.
Yeah, Michael Stich does that.
Oh,
I mean,
he goes for so much on his second serves. The best in the business.
These ones of Graf's, that they came at the best time. Flip the tape. 3 points in a row for Graf. Game point for her.
Game Graf.
What a turnaround for Steffi Graf. She maintains the break of serve. So she leads in the second set, and she has one set in hand. We'll take a break from Melbourne and be back with our coverage.
I took diet pills. I lost 34 pounds.
6.
Love 15.
1 hour and 20 minutes, this match in progress to date.
$15 all.
It's a fair time to be out there, an hour and 20 minutes in the heat. The conditions today got up to 122 degrees on centre court temperature.
This match turned around or what? Remember, this young lady had 5-3 in the first set. She lost the set 4 straight games and now trails 5-2.
Well, we saw one.
Didn't go in, but
No.
But still.
It's 30-all. A little expressive move there from Steffi Graf. She feels pretty comfortable with herself and this match, I think, at this point.
Great shot.
Sanchez Vicario.
Sanchez Vicario holds on. I suppose you'd expect her to feel pretty comfortable since she has such a big lead, but she is now forced to serve for the match.
This approach does a good job. Watch the volley, though. Graf looking for the cross-court forehand. That's the sign of a champion when you play that slice move to where you anticipate it, but good thinking from Sanchez Vicario in behind her opponent.
Missed it. 15-all.
This is kind of how Steffi in the last few games, it's how Steffi played in the first few games of this match. A little anxious, a little jumpy. She senses that she's just a few moments from the women's final.
Get back to the Chang thing as well. You know, they know that against Sanchez because she will not go away.
No, no, she's dug in. If you're a better player than she is, she will make you prove it, just as Chang does. Keep mentioning Michael Chang when we speak of Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. He did show up at the Australian Open, but he lost early to David Wheaton, who's starting off this year well. He's been in something of a slump in the last half a year or so.
Yeah, David Wheaton ushered him out, but you will see a lot more of Michael Chang this year. He played so well end of last year at the Grand Slam Cup again, and I think you're going to see good things from him because he's so solid. He just plays at the same level all the time, which is pretty darn high.
Heinz Goodhart in the white cap has been working with Steffi.
He's a Swiss doubles specialist, Davis Cup player for Switzerland.
Not anymore, ex-Davis Cup player for Switzerland.
Thank you.
Yeah. Rosset and
Derdior.
Lazek. Now, played with Bob Hewitt for quite some time. Heinz Goodhart.
So did you, Fiery Fred?
Many moons ago.
He got it. Vamos, you hear to say. Break point for Sanchez Vicario.
30-40.
Both players using all the court here. This is not a bad approach shot. I love the way two-handed backhands are hit when there's an open court there. They really don't have to finish the shot. It's just like a short forearm jolt with the two hands, and the fists go out towards the net.
Double fault, and this match takes on a new complexion. Steffi Graf is broken. So we're back on serve in the second. We'll be back.
Individuality will not be tolerated. Penn tennis balls. You've seen one. You've seen them all.
He is still leading, but we're back on serve. 4-5 Sanchez Vicario to serve in the second set.
Love 15.
When you're defending from that far back, it gets increasingly more difficult to make those shots, and Graf has been inside the baseline throughout that rally. Sanchez Vicario about 10 feet behind the baseline.
Love 15.
In trouble now. She's rushing things a little bit. Remember, she won the Lipton. She beat Jennifer Capriati and Gabriela Sabatini, and that was after Capriati had beaten Monica Seles. Similar surface to this as well for Sanchez Vicario, but she hasn't played quite as well today.
15.
Well, Steffi Graf hasn't played nearly as well as she played a round before against Jennifer Capriati. She's been a bit patchy. And of course, if she is to get through here and play Monica Seles, that's not going to get it done.
Sanchez Vicario beat Seles for the first time at the Canadian last year.
That's out. That's one. After Sabatini lost to Seles earlier today, she was asked what the toughest part of the game was, and she said her best thing is her mind. She's so focused. She plays her best in each point.
Match point here for Steffi Graf.
At times, Steffi has played very, very good tennis in this match.
It is all over. Steffi Graf has reversed the result of the US Open when she was beaten by Sanchez Vicario. Graf is through to the final and will take on Monica Seles.
That should be an interesting one. Really, as I say, Monica is so focused and so tough, and she tends to play very, very well in finals, as we all know. I still think that the surface favors Graf a bit, and we'll see, really, just how much she can put together against Monica. But this is a terrific beginning of the year, not only for this woman, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, but especially for Steffi. You can see how much she's worked. She does very well in Australia. She would love a Grand Slam win to start off her 93 season.
Well, she has just got one more match to win, and she will have just that. And she'll take on Monica Seles, who beat Gabriela Sabatini earlier today. So it will, as you see in the draw, be Monica Seles and Steffi Graf for the first Grand Slam title of 1993, the Ford Australian Open. We'll be back with more from Melbourne after we take this break. Unforced errors from her, and that was a big factor. Sanchez was able to break 3 of 11 return games, not nearly as effective as she has been in past matches. That's the story. Graf over Sanchez Vicario in straight sets. Mary Carrillo of our broadcast team had a chance to talk with the winner after her match today.
Steffi, when you play as well as you played the other day against Jennifer, it seems to me people are saying, well, she's regaining her 88 form, but in my mind, you're playing better than ever when you play that well. I mean, you're a better defensive player, you're a better all-around player, your backhand's more penetrating, your serve is better. Could that be?
That's definitely true. I think in a lot of ways, I'm much more consistent now, and in that match, for example, I came in on a few key points, which I wouldn't have done a few years ago, and yeah, my slice, even if people say it's a weakness, I think many times it has been a strength, and there's quite a few matches that I've showed now.
Well, this court, especially the rebound ace, it rewards your power, it rewards your footwork, and it rewards your slice. I mean, I'm wondering if this is perhaps your best surface.
I don't know, you feel so? I think definitely grass court is still the one that suits me the best, but I feel very confident on that surface too. It helps me too, that's true.
Yeah, grass would, I guess your ground strokes would be more penetrating still on grass.
Yeah.
We have to speak about grass because your next opponent, Monica Seles, beat you at the French Open final in a terrific match, but then you really nailed her in straights on grass. And this surface is much more suited, much more like the grass court, so you must like this matchup.
Yeah, but still the court is quite slow, so it doesn't have the speed of a grass court, for example. But yeah, it will be a tough one. I mean, the last 2 times, like you said, it's Wimbledon and French Open and the Grand Slam tournaments, which hasn't been too often, but it really depends a lot on how you go into the match on that day and how you feel about it, and we'll see.
When it's all said and done, you really do win your matches with your forehand. I mean, using your backhand to set up shots.
That's true.
It's all going to kind of depend on your forehand, it seems, maybe, against Monica in the final.
Forehand and the serve. I think the serve going to be a real important thing too, because that's where you can keep her a little bit on the defense with, and that's what I have to work on maybe the next day to get that straight.
Feels like it's going to be a good, high-quality final, doesn't it?
Hopefully.
All right.
And we all hope so.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Terrific match from Steffi Graf today. She beat Sanchez Vicario of Spain in 2 sets, 7-5 and 6-4. It took an hour and 30 minutes. Meanwhile, Monica Seles earlier today beat Gabriela Sabatini. It took only 53 minutes. That score was 6-1 and 6-2. So the women's draw looks like this. It is Monica Seles over Sabatini. It is Graf over Sanchez Vicario, and they will play for the Ford Australian Open, which is, of course, the first Grand Slam tournament of the year. Tomorrow,